Hi guys, Friday, and Friday means anything goes. And today we've got another one of those singer-songwriters, and it's always so hard for me to pigeonhole them into a category. You know, is it rock, is it folk, is it pop, is it, I don't know. This is another one where it's really hard to pin them down. They really define or created a style of their own that defines them. This one, I have heard reference to adult contemporary music. Hey, listen, I'm pretty sure I don't listen to adult contemporary music, so I'm going to ignore that one. Well, I don't know what we'll call it, but it's certainly a style all her own. And we're looking at a couple of the early albums by Jann Arden, a Canadian artist from Calgary, and winner of numerous Juno Awards. She really took the music world by storm. And the three albums I have are the first three she had put out. And my first real experience was seeing her on a TV show on Much Music, which is our Canadian version of MTV. Hosted by that perennial musical host, Terry David Mulligan, and introduced her. I think the song I'd heard was Hanging by a Thread, and that was off the third album. So she'd been around for a while before that, but that was my first exposure to her. And from there, when I heard that tune, the way she performed it, that's what led me into buying more albums. Let's go back and just take a quick look. A lot of information in here, so I'm probably not going to cover a lot. But Jann Arden, Time for Mercy was the first album. And first album coming out, she's got a lot of backing. I mean, she's down in California. I think it's Los Angeles she recorded this album at. And that's a pretty big step for a first album. Written on A&M Records, so she's signed to a major label as well. And Don Cherny is producing the album. Songs that I hear that I think I'd recognize as bigger hits was one that's called I Die For You. I'm just checking to see the other one here on the other page. Time for Mercy. Now there's a lot of tunes in here. I'm not going to go over all of them because, I mean, we're talking three albums. There's a lot of stuff to discover. Right out of the gate, Jann Arden, Time for Mercy. A chance to hear what she was doing when she first got started, and again, a lot of money behind it, I guess, because she's recording in California. Got some musicians down there to help out. Here's one that, again, is funny. It's Jann Arden, and this one is Living Under June. Second album, again on A&M Records, and Don Cherny producing, but Jann Arden getting a co-producer credit on here. Now, what's significant on here is now she's including some other people. Who's her special guest on this one? Hey, she's in California. None other than Jackson Browne pitching in here. So we got Jackson Browne helping out. Again, a lot of information. The book's great. Just show you it. Replica of handwritten lyrics in here. We've got some photos, but you got all the songs to sing along with, and 2 pages of all that technical stuff that I love that we can't, not going to read through for you today, but you know, who was recording, who was helping, what was going on, who were the engineers, where they do the mixing, all that stuff you like to hear. Well, I like to hear. I'm one of those guys, I don't know, I mentioned it the other time, my wife and I, we sit through the whole movie and watch all the credits at the end. There's a handful of us usually in the theater that do that, because I'm always interested in, you know, who are the stunt people, who are the craft services, and always an important thing for an actor to know who's doing craft services, man. Who did the extra casting, who did all these other jobs, you know. And nice to read that, and the fact, you know, give these guys a little respect for the work they've done. I mean, actors, one thing, if it wasn't for everybody in those end credits, there wouldn't be a movie. Anyways, Living Under June. Just pull my album here and just see what the hit was on that one. Some of them got some airplay. I mean, I have to admit, they were out there. Could I Be Your Girl was a big one on here. Insensitive was probably the big hit. Good Mother, and produced by Ed Cherny and co-produced by Jann Arden. And this was in 1994. So just a year after the first album. And then the last one, again, this is the one that I bought first after hearing her do the show on Much Music, was Happy. And over the years, and this was in, like say, early 90s, we went to see Jann Arden a lot. She was touring down our way. I think almost every time she came by, we went to see her. And again, this was at a stage when she was, again, 3 albums in. It was more about the music. It was not about the routines or the stories or the jokes or things like that. She was more delivering the music. There was some little side talk, but she wasn't being that character that she is now, where there's a lot more of that Jann Arden coming out, or the character. She got her own sitcom. And again, she's just approaching things in a different way than she did back in these days. This one also co-produced by Jann Arden, recorded down in Santa Monica. This album, not so much inside. We've got lyrics, of course. In there, we got one photo. And being good, see, my book's all falling apart because being a good sport, I couldn't go to the one concert, so I sent her an album cover in saying, look, would you autograph this for me? Anything. She was a good sport about stuff like that and always looked out for the fans. So, another very interesting album. And again, not like what you'd expect with albums where, you know, you get a few rockers, you get a few toe tappers, and then you get a couple of ballads. That's not the way these albums play. The songs are in a very similar style. She's got a very unique way of presenting them. And I see lately she's done an acoustic album, which I'd really like to hear because that's just what I'm into. But you don't find that same kind of diversity you might find on another band's album. Again, where, you know, I'm listening to Ron Sexsmith there, where he's got this real toe tapper tune. Next thing it'll be a ballad he's doing. It's not really that way on these albums. But well worth checking out. And again, I think she's got quite a few albums behind her now. These are just the first 3. But a chance to see the artist in development. Not that there's anything wrong with the other albums, check them out as well. But if you want to see from the first 3 albums how things are changing, how she's developing, and what her writing is like, these are 3 to get behind. Again, streaming networks, hard copies, wherever you can get it. If you get a chance, put it on this weekend. It's nice music to listen to. Some of the songs have a lot of meaning to her. They might mean something to you as well. So, you know, she is in tune with what's going on with people. So that's it for this week. Wrapping it up with Jann Arden. Check her out over the weekend. Give yourself a little pick-me-up. And we'll see you on Monday when we hope to be back with jazz again. I'm getting a little tight on those jazz albums, so we'll see what we come up with. Hope to see you then. Till then, take care, stay safe. Thanks for stopping by.